Hey, my name is Byron. I'm here to confuse you about using Drupal as an entrepreneur. Um, so before I go run myself off at the mouth, I just want to get a sense of who's in the room. That's my man Adam. We grew up together. He never liked me. I don't know why he's coming. Just introduce yourself, what you do, so I know, okay, well, I'm going to talk to him about this and him about this and all that stuff. So,
Adrian Knoll, manage website projects for a company called Rosewood Marketing.
okay.
Close to Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Okay, cool.
Chris O'Donnell, I'm a digital strategist at ProNet Source, which is a Drupal shop based out of Chicago, although I work out of Virginia.
Okay, cool.
I'm Adam Nichols. I have a Ghost agency. We do primarily WordPress development. I also do software for higher education.
Howdy, I haven't heard. I'm a developer at the airport, and we're moving to Drupal. So.
Okay, sweet.
Cooper Reck. I'm in oncology marketing at Navicore, and I run a content creation company.
Okay, cool. So my name is Byron. I guess I'm a former Drupal developer. I used to work at Back Office Thinking. So I built, launched, architected, and secured over 70 sites. I do a lot of stuff with Drupal. We mostly dealt with nonprofits, so I'm not like a Drupal commerce fanatic or anything like that yet. So there's a lot of people here that are doing heavy, hardcore development. This is how this API thing works and caching. I'm not a developer. After I left Back Office Thinking, I started working for my mom because, the family business. And what I am doing and have been doing is basically building all of the systems that we use to run the business, right? So it's not like using Drupal Commerce. We do promotional items. So hats, T-shirts, mugs. You want stuff printed on stuff. That's it. I literally bought the domain, stuff printed on stuff. I'm probably going to be able to sell her on the change next year. But, stuff printed on stuff is pretty easy to remember, right? My mom's been in business for about 29 years, and she's just the sole proprietor. Everything is really stuffed in her head. And it's my job to, take it out and break it down into steps and, and put that into something so when we hire somebody else, it's not me talking to them. It's me just saying, okay, well, go to this page and do these things. So I literally have to model all of the processes that we have to go through. So I'm also I'm also a current board member of the ITEM. The ITEM is an inclusive technology and entrepreneurship movement. There's a guy that named Kahiga Tiaga, really smart dude. He knows that there was a lack of inclusion in the tech world. So the tech part is we're building courses for AWS and onboarding people to get tech training, right? So kind of Linux Academy or something. So right now there's a whole lot of AWS, and we work partnering with different community colleges to actually deliver their curriculum. So the CCP, if you go take a AWS course at CCP, that's actually us delivering the courses, and so we're rolling that out. At the same time, we're running a course called Ask Mentor series, which is for entrepreneurs, and we have about 7 or 8 entrepreneurs that are building their product or they're ready to go to market. Some people are actually in market and they're trying to scale, and it's one Tuesday a month. Yeah, one Tuesday a month we cover a different topic. So we have an expert come in marketing, sales, get your legal structures right, all the product development. So all of those things, and we have support throughout the year. So basically we're talking to people that are building their business and helping them figure out okay, what am I going to do now, what am I going to do next, and whatnot. And since I'm a software guy, one of the things I'm talking to them about is you have to pick decent software. It has to be what it is that you want and whatnot. And I'm also trying to, in my head and through this, figure out how Drupal can be not just your front-facing website, but also run your internal processes. So like, if you need a checklist, well, you can create a note. All right, so everybody knows what, so you're all Drupal developers, except for you.
Not really.
No, oh, so you're
Actually, a Drupal sales guy. Primarily.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I
So-
have like junior site builder skills.
okay, cool, gotcha. All right, so are you familiar with the ECK module?
No.
Okay, cool. You?
I am not at all.
Okay, cool. No. All right. This is good to know. And of course, my site is just not behaving because it's not. The security isn't working. I guess my little certificate expired because I didn't renew it. That's what happens when you build your own stuff. you forget to rebuild it.
That's encrypted.
No, yeah, but I forgot to do the auto. That's exactly what that's exactly what's going on. Where am I going? Yeah. So this is so if you're ever doing a presentation, don't do what I'm doing, which is a live demo. Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Let's stick with this for a little bit. Okay. So basically, what I want to do is I want to pitch using Drupal to build all of the systems in your business. Like, you have a CRM. Everybody knows the CRM is. Like, you have an ERP, which does that stuff. You have documents that usually go into Google Docs, and you got to replace this, and you copy this, and all. Like, you can use Drupal to do all of those things. And you make one change.
Are there any distributions kind of built for that kind of back office?
Not yet. Like that's one of the things I want to do. In Drupal 7, there's a distribution called Apparel, and built by. Hold on, let's see. Where was I? Yeah. Apparel, Drupal's for service providers, and they actually have two different distributions. One is for somebody that's like building a software business, and one for somebody that's selling things. So it includes, includes like time tracking for, you got people working for you, you got time tracking, you put budgeting in there, and all that cool stuff. However, I installed it and I got it successfully running like 1 or 2 times, but I didn't build a business around it yet because Drupal 8 was coming out and it seems like their development has stalled, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to try to do all this and go through all that stuff. So there's nothing in Drupal 8 that I know of so far that actually has you look at all of those internal processes. But if you're looking for something, go install this. You can see it has some particular memory limits and stuff that you have to configure and install in order to get it running. But go through it just to see like what all of the features are, so you can say, oh, well, this is the cool stuff that I want. Thanks for your question. Also, what's your name?
Brian.
Brian. I forgot everybody's name so far. I just be, and what there you go. And you're a Drupal developer, like what?
I'm a developer. I've also got my own shop.
Your own shop. Okay,
And
cool.
I'm also working on a project for entrepreneurs, so it kind of ties in all 3 ways.
Sweet. Okay, that's what. Okay. Okay, cool. So, and then so this is in 7. I'm all over the place because I have 3 kids and I don't have enough time to, Okay, cool. So bear with me. It'll get a little better maybe. Okay, so this is just to kind of get a sense of who's in the room. You're currently running a startup business. We got 2. Okay. You're thinking about a business that you may want to build. Okay, cool. Your breath stinks. That would be me. Wave your hand in the air when you don't be disobedient. Right? You work for somebody you think you're smarter than. Like, everybody has a boss. They're like, but you can't do. Like, oh, well, I want to do this, and they're like, So that's the impetus to, go build your own business because clearly you don't want to make it, right? and you might be a technical founder and you just want somebody somebody else to do marketing, or you're a marketing person and you want somebody that like knows the technical stuff. So this would kind of be like a little introduction to technical stuff. Right now, the whole thing is, learn how to code, right? You go to coding camp and all this stuff, and you learn all of these languages, and we're AngularJS and all this stuff in order to build data structures that then turn into the web. Don't do that. Drupal allows you to build 90% of all of the data structures that you need in order to do all the cool stuff that you want. Like, whether you have an app to, for people to sign up, whether you want to like clone Eventbrite, whether you want to do a CRM, whether you want to do like most of the, whether you want to do like your own Facebook or an Evite thing, you can use Drupal to do all that without having to learn how to code. And all the stuff you need to do for somebody to code, you can just pay somebody like, on Elance or some freelancer to do that particular thing that you can't do inside the UI in Drupal. So I'm going to open that up and, create a couple things and then create a list or two of things so to show you all of that cool stuff. Hooting and curves. Right. All the yeah. So cool. So that's that's what we're going to do. So the three main things I'm talking about is you can use Drupal to build your client-facing website. I mean, clearly, right? You get WordPress or Drupal. This is what my clients see. You can also use Drupal to prototype your app. So, like, if you're like, I wanted to do this, you can install Drupal or find some installation of Drupal and start building it without having to go learn how to code or wait for somebody that does. Now, sure, Drupal has a big learning curve. However, once you learn it, you're an expert at stuff. Like once you understand like the core data structures, like, okay, I'm going to build this type of thing. It's going to have these fields. These fields are going to present this way, and then I'm going to build this list. That's like half of the stuff that you have to do. And then you don't have to worry about theming it because Drupal has a lot of themes that you can just download and install. You can use the base thing. But if you're trying to build the functionality, Drupal is a very good way to go fast.
Have you seen the Drupal Learning Curve comic?
Yeah. It's let's see. Yeah, there we
The
go.
third one on the right.
No, I should open the image in the tab. Yeah. And then because my control button doesn't work, I have to go do this. All right. So this is the Drupal learning curve. And that's fine because you're an entrepreneur. You have to learn everything. And everything's like it's not just like, I have to learn how to code. Well, you have to learn accounting, you have to learn finance, you have to learn marketing, you have to learn HR. Like this is, Drupal's just one of the things that you have to get good at. Or not just Drupal, but the information architecture of your whole entire business. And you can use Drupal as a single tool to do all of that good stuff. And hopefully, in a couple minutes, this will start to become a little clearer. Building the infrastructure of your business. Okay, so people talk about content. Drupal's a CMS. It's a content management system, right? So what you have is content architecture. Like people talk about content marketing strategies, right? Okay, well, I'm going to write blogs to do this. I'm going to send out emails to do this. So content architecture in a sales or marketing and sales type thing, you have to basically say, what is the reader going to read in what sequence that has them buy my product? Right, so, I want to sell Drupal sites. Okay, well, I have to say what Drupal is. Or maybe it's not WordPress or Drupal, I'm just selling sites. Okay, this is a site. This is why you need it. This is why I'm good at it. And we should have a conversation. That's pretty much the whole marketing and sales thing right there. And isn't it nice that I just simplified that whole thing? Just put that on your website. Now, the information architecture is all of the stuff the reader needs to know. So that might be the different parts of your page. And inside of your business, you also need to know what the manager or process owner needs to know. So like if you are a sales manager, who's calling who, right? If you are a sales manager, also like, are there particular scripts that a person needs to read on a sales call? How many calls do you have in a sequence? I know I got a demo from Shark Spring. They're a CRM people, and what they did was, I filled out some form and they got my email address and phone number. So then they called me and said, hey, or emailed me and said, hey, can we set up a call? And so they set up a call, and on that call, all he did was schedule a demo. I was like, wait, aren't you going to set? He's like, no, just, I just want to set up the demo. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now, me having read a whole lot of sales, like that's easy. Like that's just a little buy-in, right? So what happens is they have a sequence of things that they know works, that they repeat over and over again in order to get somebody down the pipeline. All of that happens in their CRM. You can build the same thing in Drupal.
As a salesperson, I'll bet that their no-show rate on those demos is 50% because they're not qualifying anybody. If they're literally just the only thing they want to do is get you on the calendar, I bet they have a 50% no-show rate.
Right. That's likely. I almost didn't say that.
And you're not investing. So
Right,
when
yeah.
the thing comes up, you're not going to show.
So, but then that's also something they can track in their system. Sales Spring is.
I've seen that same demo, by the way. So I saw it at DrupalCon.
Oh, okay, cool. And then the business architecture, what departments need to know. So, let's talk about business real quick. So, I think a lot, way too much, and so I group things. So, marketing includes marketing, sales, and customer service. Everything that faces the customer. So your customer service stuff might be, you have tickets, if somebody, like somebody goes on Twitter and complains about you. You might have a little hashtag thing, like, searching for your company, and then they need to communicate to your customer service representative or customer success person, hey, this person here had this thing. But you need to document that. That can't just be all stuck in emails. Because later, if you wanted to see, well, how many people in this month did that, you need some type of structure. And I'm not sure that everything, other software systems allow you to do all of that. So you can build that with Drupal. Now I keep saying you're going to build that with Drupal. I'll show you the actual building of some of this stuff in a bit. Operations. So operations includes technology, HR, and actual operations. So you buy somebody, you hire somebody, and they have to do things. Right, sure, there's an abstract job description, but every day they need to do these 16 things, right? So where are those forms at? All right, where is the information that says what things each person needs to do? You can put all of that stuff in Drupal. You can build the forms that they need to fill out. You can track how often they fill out the forms. You can do a lot of stuff. Put it all in Drupal, or not. In accounting, I'm not in accounting. But if you have a site where you sell stuff online, Drupal has a great commerce system. It's literally called Commerce, Drupal Commerce, and you can install that and then sell all of your services or products or whatever using that, and it'll give you reports and lists of all of the stuff, so you know where the money's coming in. And then you find, I wouldn't say build a QuickBooks clone in Drupal, but if you're inclined, you can. Okay. Okay, so that's a little much. All right. So let's all right. So did I really do that too? Client facing. Yeah. Okay, boom. Client architecture. Click the add title. All right. So we're going to look at the site for my company. We are we sell promotional items. My site is not good. I'm not even going to act like this is a great example. This is just here to say like these are the pieces, and we're going to look at those pieces. So Scoops promotional. It's called Scoops because we started as an ice cream store. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so the website was really horrible. Now it's just like kind of bad. I'm not a designer. I don't know how to design anything, but I did design all of this, pick the colors out, and got that nice background. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. So, so this is what the clients see, right? This is just, about Scoops, what we do. I have a few industries we service, so this is just like a homepage or a landing page that you can build in Drupal. I don't think I have an email capture. Yeah, I do have an email capture. Yeah, so I checked some of the boxes and whatnot, right? So how does that work in Drupal? So I click edit, and then each of those things was a section. Let's put this side by side. Duplicate. And then, okay. So I have a thing called Whole Page Hero. That's what that is. About and what we do. A few industries we service. You like my naming conventions? They actually reflect instead of section 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Products we offer, which have other stuff, a few stats and whatnot. And this is just a contact us form, right? So I built all of the structures that capture all of this. Like if you So as an entrepreneur, you're going to eventually have a landing page. Like this is my page. You're going to want to know how to build and edit it, right? So I'm just going to show you how to build and edit this, right? And then over here, what I also did was I created a thing where you have your text, right? So I can modify the text here, the media. So this is where I upload the background of the hero. And we're not going to actually change anything in styling. So I can actually put some markup that says, okay, well, big, little, spacious, unspacious, blue, to change the different backgrounds or whatever I do with the CSS. Okay. I think the about and what we do has a blue. Cool styling. Yeah. So in here I have a background blue that says, okay, this is going to be the background blue and whatnot. All right. All right, cool. So that's just, that's just like, hey, a front page and a landing page. Let me go back to my presentation. Cool. And landing pages and forms. Okay, cool. So Drupal also has this great thing for forms. Everybody needs forms, right? So usually, it might be SurveyMonkey, MailChimp, or something to capture some piece of some piece of data about that person that's coming to your site. Actually, selling them is a little different if you do Drupal commerce. So this is actually a web form. So we have the ability to put in a text field and then name it whatever I want. So that would be new text field. So if you needed to create a couple forms for people to fill out, you wanted to create an interview process. If you're selling websites, right? You might want that person to give you a lot more information after the first call. You say, hey, I'm going to send you a form that asks you these 16 questions. When do you need it by? What's your budget? What's your main problem? Is there, what technologies do you use? And then that will make you get a whole lot more information instead of spending the time talking to them and asking those questions yourself. So you can use Drupal to create all those forms instead of using like SurveyMonkey and then having to import that and go to 14 or 15 different websites to figure out what all of this stuff is going on. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's put that back over there. Cool. Now this is going to be really bad. Okay, so Drupal has a kind of a homegrown CRM called Redhead. I installed this because it looked like it was the most developed thing. It's pretty cool. It gives you the ability to have contact information and organization information. So this is a list of all of the organizations that I have in here. Isn't this horrible? I'm just like really showing you my business, right? So get out of my business. So this is just, I was doing some work yesterday, and I can actually modify this however I want. Like let's say, you have two people that need a list of your organizations, but you also need to know who the primary contact for that organization is, right? Or you need to know not when it was updated, but what industry they're in. So what you can do is you can use Drupal to keep adding whatever information you want. So let's say I needed to also see their address. So this is a piece of Drupal called views. Everybody familiar with views? Okay, cool. So views allows you to create lists of things. Views is the technical term that they used in SQL development. Like in actual SQL, a view is a list of things. So that's why they call it views. I like to think of it just as an advanced list. You can do all types of cool stuff. So you can change from a table to a chart. I can have a GMap. I can have an unformatted list. I have, a carousel. Like, these are different presentations of the same data. So no matter what, you want pictures, you want logos. Yeah, let's do logos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the logo. Cool. So apply to all displays. No, not parent organization. We're going to change the image to a thumbnail. And then I'm going to hit save. And then it's going to crash. Right? Come on. What did I do?
No, the columns there, I don't think there's logos for any of those first 5 in the database.
But why is there only 5? Did I changed it? Let's see.
It's just showing 5 rows at a time for whatever reason.
Yeah, I broke it. I'm good at that. Page, 5 items. No.
Items per page at the top.
View page or display. No. Yeah, full page. And then I want 50. I don't know how that changed. All right. And then there's a preview of views. Organization logo. Yes. Okay, cool. So I know what's happening. I stopped putting them in. If there's no data, there's no data. Duh. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the created date. There we go. So, when I just started putting stuff in, I would go hunt for the logo because that was cool. But now I'm doing hundreds of organizations and I don't have time for that. So, this is just some of our clients, I guess. And there should be like another set of schools. Thanks. Whatever. Okay. So anyway. So that was just to say like, okay, well, I built this data structure for organizations and then here's a whole list of things. So let's look at the data structure for one of those things. All right, so we have, okay. This is a view. It's not a lot of information. And then in the edit, I created a form and I put it into these nice little horizontal tabs. So buying for me is like, a school. They have 3,000 students, right? If a company is going to host like 30,000 people at their event, I would put that there. So this is just, for me to have an internal sense of, okay, well, I might be able to supply 40,000 of things to these people, or it might be 15, right? I have a parent organization because a lot of times we deal with sub departments and so forth. I have industry information, organization type, and tags. So I might talk to them and be like, okay, well, these are people that like apparel. So Black Girl Summer Camp or whatever. So I don't want to do that. Contact information, so I can capture the phone, the email, website, the fax, the location information. All of that stuff is great. But let's go. Who has? Yeah, okay. They have location information, right? So just to show you that some of them have different information. So you can see like, Drupal, it has a CRM. I can build this from scratch, or, you can build it from scratch. Or there was like, I installed a module that said, okay, I'm building a lot of this structure. I put in a lot of the data, so there's not like a fully grown CRM system in Drupal 8. Everybody know the difference between Drupal 7 and Drupal 8? Okay. So so Drupal develops, like, it gets better and better and better. And there have been major releases. So Drupal 7 was the last, where Drupal 7 was a big major release. And then they changed the architecture and they changed to Drupal 8. So when you go from Drupal 7 to Drupal 8, a whole lot of things change. It's kind of like new model years for a car. Right, Drupal 7 has this one configuration, and Drupal 8 has a different. Like you're going to need to order a different set of parts in 2015 than 2014 if it has a whole thing, right? So Drupal 7 was out for like 5 or 6 years, let's say, and lots of bells and whistles, and people put a lot of time and energy into building a whole lot of modules in that, let's say, ecosystem, right? So there's lots of car parts. Right. In Drupal 8, that's a little more recent, and there's not as many car parts. So all of the stuff that people built in Drupal 7, you can still build in Drupal 8, but it's not just prepackaged. So Drupal 7 had two kind of CRMs, one called Red Hen CRM and another called
Civi.
No, not
CRM.
Yeah, Civi CRM. But that's not a Drupal-based CRM, but it is a CRM. And Civi's pretty dope. And so in Drupal 8, there's no like CRM system. In Drupal 8, there's no like ERP. Like I showed you Apparel that says, okay, well, this is for service providers. You can put time tracking and all that stuff in it.
Question on that.
Sure.
So I see City CRM around, but I never played around with it.
Mhm.
Is that really for specific kinds of organizations? Or?
It's mostly for nonprofits.
Okay.
I built a couple Civi sites, and it's actually really, really mature CRM system. There is so it has email capabilities, which is kind of like all the rage. Like it has like the organizations and contacts, like I'm talking about right now. It has all of that in it. It can do events and tickets, like advanced, like you can capture stuff for like meal planning, or like who wants the vegetarian or the vegan or the whatever meal and stuff. So that is very mature that it does these types of things. What I'm trying to compare this to is when you build something from scratch, it takes a lot of time to put all of this stuff together. But when you're building in Drupal, it's like really, really quick. So let's do something crazy. So we have, in this social info, we have Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's say I wanted, what's another social network? Pinterest. Okay, so let me say I wanted to capture somebody's Pinterest. Let's see how fast I can do that. So I would go to structure, rather than CRM. This is the organization type. Right. I'll go to manage fields. Yeah. And you can see like this is the screen that shows me like how that other screen was organized. So we have the main info group, and this is a horizontal tabs group. I can change those to vertical tabs. I can make them accordions. I can do all types of cool stuff, right? The contact info, the location info. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to add Pinterest, and then so you can add all types of stuff. Booleans, so yes or no's, dates. You can put emails, an entity reference. That's Drupal speak for pointing to another thing. So like you can have contacts as a contacts is an entity with all of these fields. This is the organization entity. So I can point to contacts and like say, okay, well this organization is owned by, or this organization employs, like you can create different types of relationships to all of those things. So if you were, like let's say you were creating a ticketing system, in terms of ticketing, like somebody had a problem, and like a Jira thing, not event tickets, but like, so you might put, who the person was, the date, the time, who owns the ticket, like who's responsible for it, and then you have other fields that capture more information, like a description and whatnot. You can build all of this stuff here without having to go to install Jira, buy an account at this ticketing system, open up Asana or something like that, right? But now we just want a URL field, link. There we go, link. So it's a link, cool. And then I want it to go in here, and then I hit save. And then when I'm back here, I'll just refresh this, and then go to social info, and then boom. Now I can configure it to just have the title or the URL, but that's just this is just to show you like, oh well, I need to capture more information. In Drupal, you don't have to go ask the developer to do that. I literally didn't write any code to do that. I just did it. It's awesome, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Does anybody have any questions right now? Okay. Cool. Yeah. So, okay, and then in the organizations, right, and then, so, I add the Pinterest there, and then maybe I want to see that somewhere. So, I go to views, and I can add the fields. So this allows me to look at all of the fields in the organization type. Don't tell me about updating my security stuff. I won't do it. Okay, and so all of the information that I just put on that entity, I can then put in this list, like you just saw with the logo, and we can do all types of stuff with that. I feel like I'm going too fast. No, everybody good? Okay, good. I'm just nervous. All right, cool. Cool. Let's move you over there. Cool. So we did the forums, yes. So, okay, so I was talking about the marketing stuff. So that was the CRM. Okay, so, Drupal has, integration with Google Analytics. You put like a little Google Analytics in there, and it links and whatnot, so you can have all your stuff tracked in there. It has a MailChimp integration, so you can actually, inside of Drupal, create mails. You might not want to do it because the MailChimp's mails are prettier. But, Drupal can access like, okay, this email is related to this. So somebody signs up, starts the marketing, all of your automations go, so there's a link between Drupal. I'm not too, I haven't done a whole lot of work with that. I just have the MailChimp in one of my sites, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I got the API connected and all that good stuff. If you need groups, like let's say you want people to upload stuff, like you have a managers, or you want a board, or somebody that's on your board, or your managers, they come to the site, they log in, and you can have areas for them based on what role they have in the organization. You can subscribe people to groups, so just like on Facebook groups, which is a lot more social. You can say, okay, well, the marketing team is in this group, the sales team is in this group, and then it becomes like a little chat. So it's like a little bootleg Slack system. It might not have instant updates, so I'll have to refresh, but at least you still own that data. Whereas when you go to Slack or, whatever CRM, like they have the data. You can't really just export and say, oh, well, I'm gonna take it over here now. So Drupal allows you to own all of that stuff. For technology stuff, clearly Drupal is a technology, but you can use it for asset management. So if you got a lot of stuff at different, if you have materials, like let's say you need to track books or desks or something with some particular code, you can use Drupal to say, okay, it's at this location, this person checked it out, this person is responsible for it, these are its features, this is descriptions and all of that good stuff.
Pretty much anything you'd stick in a simple spreadsheet.
Say what?
Pretty much anything you'd stick in a simple spreadsheet.
Yes, there you go.
Really easy to do.
Everything you need to put in a spreadsheet, you can put in Drupal. When spreadsheets get too complicated, people say you need a database, right? Drupal is the database that you should use. Why? Because we're at a Drupal conference, right? But all of this, people might use an Airtable database, they might use Smartsheet or whatever, like all of those things are great, but it's not Drupal. You have to pay for those.
And you can own it.
Right, yeah. So I'm trying to pitch that Drupal's like a Swiss Army knife, that you can literally build whatever it is that you want. And if you can't, you just find a developer that can finish it. Okay, so I did the views part. Sweet. I think I did this already. Here we go. All right, so what I showed you were lists, right? Lists are good. However, processes happen, in the sequence. So Drupal also has stuff. It has like a rules engine, which means like if I sign in and I fill out one form. At the end of filling out that form, I want this person to go to that page, or I want to update this other list with some other information that they didn't put in themselves. I can use the rules engine to do those types of things. In Drupal 8, so also in workflow, let's say you need an approval process. So somebody submitted some content, but he's like a low-level guy and his grammar's not good, and he always he doesn't use the Oxford comma. So you definitely want to correct that. So then you get somebody else like that's a different role. So there might be a publisher versus a content creator, and the publisher then reads through it and says, okay, well, I'm gonna send this back to draft status instead of publishing it because it's just not right. People aren't capitalizing all of the things. So and it might be a more complex process than just publishing something. You might need to capture information, and it has 2 or 3 people that need to approve it before some. There's a module called Maestro, which is really cool. I haven't played with it, but I just watched the demo, which makes me a master, right? It is a visual workflow engine, right? So this, you can see from the little diagram that it allows you to put conditions and workflows and stuff. So this is actually native in Drupal. It's available for both 7 and 8. So if you need some, business process modeling, that's what this is. It's really, really cool. They have a demo that shows you what to do. Just go watch the demo. It's pretty cool. It's like an insurance agency that needs to do like 5 or 6 things. If somebody fills out a form, it even has somebody fills out a form and they might send somebody approves it, and then when that person approves it, it sends out an email, and then that person has to click the link, and then once it's updated, then the person that approves it gets the email or gets a notification that has been submitted or something so you can use complex workflows in Drupal. You don't have to just wing it and say, oh, okay, well, did you get this message? No, you get an email that says this, or it might be on a dashboard that you create. Really cool stuff that you can do with Drupal. Any questions? Sound cool?
Well, I saw you had Multic on there.
Yeah.
Do you have experience with that?
I don't. I literally just found out about Multic.
I've never heard of it until the Aqua press release.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we kind of had on our bucket list to check into, and I saw Aqua about it. And the demo video was pretty cool.
Yeah, in the visual workflow engine too. I'm like, oh, well, we have that inside of Drupal too already. So for those that don't know, Mautic is like an email market. I'm going to and I'm going to undersell it, but Mautic is so far as I understand, it's a marketing platform. So it's like a combination of Google Analytics and MailChimp. There might be some more stuff. There might be some stuff that's missing, but you can do all of that stuff. Like the CRM is going to be in Mautic instead of in Drupal. All cool stuff. So why this is important is Acquia, which is run by Dries, who created Drupal. Acquia owns. Yeah, he owns most of. Dries owns most of Acquia, and they bought Mautic. Dries understands clearly because he built it that Drupal is good for everything, right? But people haven't developed Drupal to do all of the cool stuff that in marketing. Drupal's more of a Swiss Army knife than a particular tool, I guess. Mautic is another open source. Let's just say it's an open source CRM. built on Symfony, which Drupal is also now built on. So there's a lot of synergy of like, the release schedules and the development and the updates and whatnot. So Acquia bought Mautic, so now they're I haven't done any integration with it or whatever, but I just saw it and heard it. I was like, yo, that's super cool and dope and all that stuff.
Acquia internally is focusing a lot on cross-platform marketing and tracking sales channels across different things.
Okay.
This fits into that part of their strategy as well.
Okay, yeah, because they're trying to do digital experience, right?
They're trying to become Adobe Experience Manager with open source software, basically.
Okay, cool. Right, because because Adobe bought Marketo.
Yeah, Marketo.
Marketo, yeah. And yeah, so I didn't know. I really don't know exactly what they do, but yeah.
So I would compare this to like HubSpot and Marketo.
Oh, okay. This goes to HubSpot. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's related.
When you check out the pricing of, if you're dealing with smaller companies like we are, the pricing of like HubSpot or Marketo gets you into 12, 20 grand a year just to get started,
Right.
And it doesn't really fit all their budgets.
Well, I can almost guarantee you Acquia's pricing will be right there too. I mean, there's the open source version.
Yeah, the
you
open
can.
source version.
I just hope they don't do like what Sugar CRM did, which is essentially ignore the community edition.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be, so crippled it's almost useless.
Okay. Also, in Drupal 8, there's a module called Content Planner, because everybody's into like content marketing strategy or whatever. So I forget the guy's name. He created a content planner that does content planning type stuff. So here's a dashboard that you can install lots of widgets, and so like it has the current statistics of like what's published. Now, mind you, like this is just like I don't have a content marketing strategy. I just installed it just to look at it because it looks cool. So you can see like I've got 6 in draft. I'm not editing. I published 6 and archived 2. Most of those archives are just tests, right? And it has a nice little calendar that shows you what is planned. So you can actually say, okay, well, on this day this is going to be published. On this day this is going to be archived, and do all that types of stuff. And then Kanban, right? So it even has a cool thing where you can, switch from draft to editing, to publish, to archived, and whatnot. So I just found this a couple weeks ago. I think this is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. Simply because you just install it once and you have all of these things that help you manage all of this stuff in your website. Cool. Any questions about this?
Is it like tying into like the workflow moderation?
Yeah. I mean, this is the workflow moderation. Oh wait.
Is there a different view on it, or content moderation in V8?
I don't know, because I know there's 2 content moderation. Like there's like Workbench and Workflow that kind of don't do the. I'm not sure whether this is separate or integrates with one of them. I don't remember like putting in a content workflow thing. So I think it's just its own thing. Yeah. If that makes sense. Cool. Any questions? Cool. All right. I want to backtrack and go back to something real quick. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I could do that there. So, on the home page, I had, hero, a little thing I call multi, and different sections. So what's happening is I have a page that has different sections in it, and I custom built those sections. So it's not like, I custom built those sections from scratch. There's a module called paragraphs that has like some pre-formatted things, and you can create more paragraphs and whatnot. But I just wanted to show you that what's happening is like there's many things inside of many things. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's.
Was this built with ECK?
Yeah, this is built with ECK, which is Entity Construction Kit. So just like I had the organizations, I have this thing called a call to action, which is probably pretty simple. It has a heading, a main text, and a link, right? You know, people say, oh, put a call to action. I have an item display. And for me, the item display, let's show you that real quick. So I have school apparel, right? So this is just, like we market to schools. So I have like the thing, you like my old hallway, or so the blackboard there, and then hey, student, staff, spirit wear. I like the S's, right? And then I have a display of all of the things that we can sell to them. So we have T-shirts, more T-shirts, and hey, shorts too. And then staff apparel, school spirit wear, and then prices. Who need prices? Well, I don't put the prices there because it depends on how you want to customize. Like some people need 2 colors, some people need 4 colors. They need 2 different imprints and all of that stuff. Whatever. But I built all of these things separately. So now if I want to do again, I can put that in there. Let me just hit you with a edit. This is going. I got boxes inside of boxes. So the school pride, school apparel, phys ed, school apparel staff, and then I can edit that, and then that's where all of my information sits. So you see, there's boxes inside of boxes. So I have the 1 T-shirt, the 2nd T-shirt, and the sport tag, and then I click on edit, and then I can edit that. So maybe I have marketing copy that says this is what the features are. I have images to upload. Maybe I have a little section where the measurements are. I have a little picture for colors, and like, let's say I wanted a background. So this is, flex half. So that means how big it is and stuff like that. So yeah, all types of data inside of data. And what this does is, like, if I ever needed to figure out, like, how many types of shirts do I have, I could create a list using views. So, like, Drupal can do whatever you want. It's not just for, hey, I need a website. It's also an intranet that you can use, like, to communicate within your department, to communicate across departments. You can put HR information in there. Actually, CiviCRM, I think, has a human resources module. I haven't played with that, but capture all the data. And that's pretty much all I got.
So quick question: CiviCRM is basically built on Drupal, but it's a standalone product? Or
No, it's a standalone product that's integrated into Drupal.
Integrated, not
Yeah.
built on.
Right. So it's its own thing. You can put it in Joomla and you can put it in WordPress. And it exposes its stuff to Drupal. There's a module called at least for Drupal 7. There's a module called CiviCRM entities. So how I was just showing you, I have these things inside of things. What it does is it exposes all of the CiviCRM stuff to it. So I can now create lists of stuff that's in CiviCRM. And CiviCRM is like, it's its own mature product. It's really dope. So definitely give it a run for its money. So did I cover everybody? You have questions? No? Comments? Because I'm just nervous, right? I'm like, I wanted to, like, did I present what you thought I would present? Maybe, like, and if I missed something, I want to, like, have a conversation about that, because, this is not just me being an expert. This is me saying, hey, use it for Drupal. So if you have any questions, I want to just make sure you got those answered.
So what did you use Drupal for?
So what?
So you're setting up a business, what would you recommend not using Drupal as your solution for it? Like you mentioned QuickBooks earlier.
Yeah, I would definitely not put, well, I'm just nervous about money, right? Like, I'd rather have QuickBooks because that actually records all of the transactions of all your business. I would be completely fine with having that somewhere in the cloud, right? But you could use Drupal for. I just wouldn't use it for that. the purchasing and whatnot. Like some of that information can get more complicated than I would want to. There's a certain level of detail that I don't want to get into, and having all of the purchasing information is one of those. Like I don't need to know what widgets, but I have a very simple business, so like there's not really a whole lot of material. Like I don't have to buy all of the things, right? Like
Do you have e-commerce as part of this, or do you handle that like as a back-end process and they just tell you what they want?
Oh no, yeah, you don't even buy anything on the site. Most of that's just email communication, and then I go buy the stuff and talk to the people that I need. Okay, so promotional items. So we did these, right? So I emailed Anson, and Anson emailed me a couple times. I went bought stuff from my supplier, and then my supplier then sent that to my decorator, and then my decorator sent that there. I don't really need to capture all. Actually, I do have that information. Watch. Thanks. You're the best. Orders. No, here we go. CRM orders. Okay. All right. So add an order. Come on. Okay. Cool. So whenever I get something, I have a title. I create a purchase order. So like if I have a customer that's like an institution, they have a PO, I put the PO in here. Now I built all of this. This is, like the contacts and organization information comes like the basic contact information. Then you had to add like, your phone numbers and your emails and stuff like that. Like there was nothing that had the order information. I probably could have used Drupal Commerce, but not needing to have people come on the site and create their own orders and buy stuff. I just created my own thing, right? I have order statuses. So if I know like, prospecting, I'm qualified, if I sent the quote or not, I have, what's confirmed, I'm ordering, like, as at the decoratorship. So like if I need to track where stuff is in the process, boom. Payment status. So I haven't done anything with this. Like automatically, it'll send me a reminder that says, "Hey, this person hasn't been paid, even though it's shipped." Like I don't have that like automated, but I can track that if I wanted to. I need a certain set of data from the people. So like some people will call and they just want to know how much 300 things will be, but they don't have funding approved. They're just curious, right? So I have client funding approved. I always need people's artwork. Like, if you want something printed on something, I have to get the artwork made up in the particular format. So I want to track that type of stuff. Whether I paid the decorator or paid for the goods already, because sometimes we order it and pay it and get an invoice. Sometimes we pay up front, and this helps me track like, okay, so this might be some of the purchasing information that I wouldn't put in Drupal, but I'm not actually taking the order forms. I'm not taking the orders that I order from my suppliers and putting that in here. Like I don't need it, right? I have some contact information. So this allows me to estimate like, if they're going to spend $500 and then I have $140 in goods and the artwork costs me $2 and the decorator costs me $4 and then shipping costs $67 and then I buy $25 worth of samples, right? So that, that shows me how much net I have. There's a module called, that adds up all of those fields that you can link it to and then, right, boom. And then, so all of the contacts, I have this link to the contacts records that I have, so I know, who I need to call, who, the billing contact. Sometimes the person might not be the person that sends the check. So for the billing contact, I put in the person that sends the check. And then I don't really, this refer isn't really useful right now. I need to have that like source, like a marketing campaign or like, does somebody recommend like that type of information. And then I have some stuff like if I have a particular file. So sometimes we do RFPs, requests for proposals. So I had to submit documents. So instead of leaving that in Google Drive where I, or my computer where I download the form and then do all this stuff, I can upload it here. So the next time somebody else needs to come here, they don't have to be like, "Yo, Byron, where's that file?" Like, boom, it's right there. Dude, it's right there. I can create links. So, there might be a link to, or it might be a link to the bid that I'm doing. So like I can capture all of that information and put it in here.
Can you go back one please? Just hit back.
You want to look at all my monies?
No, I was just wondering the layout of this prospecting thing, because I was just talking about this with somebody last night.
Yeah, so the fields I had, that was the client status. So I just created a view and then I grouped it.
Okay.
And then in the view, if you do the right, let's look at the view.
Right, you're just manually changing those when the status updates, right? They're not like automatically doing it based on rules or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, like there's no other information that would change it automatically. Like that would literally be me, moving something from. Just real quick, if you have okay, the order object, the order status, this is a taxonomy relationship. And when you have that in the relationship, then you can sort by that. So that's what allows me to sort and group it in the right way. So it's not like, out of order. And then the taxonomy is just... So yeah. So if I needed, to create a new, if I need to create a new step in the process, like, if I had like marketing qualified and sales qualified and those things, I could just add them right here, and then that would, help with the capture of the order. Like, I had another entity called opportunity, because in sales, something might be an opportunity but not an order. But, I don't want to have to do both of those things. So, I could, combine them or all that stuff all in one place.
One more quick question. So you basically customize the entire workflow. You can build that to your specific business, and you can easily configure that and make changes. Once you get to a point where you're relatively stable, let's say you wanted to, there's another stuff-on-stuff company. Can you export just the structure and clear out all the data and use that as a template foundation for another company?
Yes. So there's a module called features. That I didn't spell right. Actually, maybe I have it in here. Yeah, features. Okay, cool. So I want to.
This basically exports the structure and taxonomy and everything.
Yeah. So, I have contact type, the entity types. So those are the high level, the CRM objects, the section. So remember, I showed you the section for the front page. So this will export the configuration, right? Apparently I have 135 fields in here. So, I wanted to do all that stuff. So you can come in here and say, okay, well, these are all of the things that I want to be able to move. Yeah. And then it creates its own little zip file. And then you can take that zip file, put it in another site, turn it on. I mean, assuming you have all of the modules or whatever. So yeah, so you can definitely use this to clone a site again and again and again. Yeah. Also, there's a session later that is that I'm going to. I didn't recommend to you, but it's like Ansible, Ager, and something else to use a platform as a service. So what you can do is then create a site and then use the site as a template. And then
Dev shops will do that.
Dev Shop will do that?
Yeah, that's a newer one.
Okay, cool. And then it clones the whole thing, so you don't have to do that again and again and again. So, yeah.
And the other alternative is just make a copy of your site and just delete it out.
Yeah.
And in Drupal 8, instead of features, the core configuration management.
But they still have features. Yeah,
It's still available.
Yeah.
Kind of for a little narrower use case now.
okay, yeah.
That's meant more for like moving from like your
Staging.
local environment, staging, production, but it's more meant for like one site. But I think they're kind of working and taking that to step two. They might have be available to like have that not tied to a specific site ID.
Right.
That's kind of more the way things are headed with Drupal 8.
Okay, yeah, because I only have like one Drupal 8 site, and I haven't really played with the moving and all of that stuff. But yeah, cool.
Does Drupal, this is a WordPress question. Does Drupal 8, is Drupal making a commitment now to make things going forward able to be migrated forward? In other words,
Yes.
Drupal 8 was like, oh crap, everything I did in Drupal 7
Yeah.
blown up.
Yeah, Drupal 8. So Drupal 9 is supposed to be a Drupal 8 update with just all the crust kicked out. So, you know, I think 8 was kind of the, okay, well, like this is the last time we're going to break anything. Because it switched from functional programming or whatever to object-oriented, I think just like staying in the object-oriented world makes it a lot easier, one. And two, there's just a whole lot more things that got moved into core, so it's a lot, and it's already mature stuff. So it's like, you know, it's not like I have to go create something again and again and again. It's like, okay, well, it's matured after like 5 or 6 different cycles. Now, like that's really how it should work. So,
Kind of like Drupal 7 stayed the same for 5 years or whatever, and then they did a total rewrite. Whereas now, like, things get updated every 6 months.
Yeah.
And so stuff gets deprecated, and that all stays there in Drupal 8. But you're supposed to start using the new stuff. And Drupal 9 is basically supposed to be take out deprecated stuff. Hopefully,